How many days have you lost? Not the days you remember, not the good ones or the bad ones, but the ones that just disappeared. The mornings you woke up with plans and went to bed with excuses. The hours you spent scrolling, waiting, telling yourself tomorrow would be different. How many days have slipped through your fingers like water? Because here's what nobody tells you when you're young. When time feels infinite, when you think you have forever, every single day you waste is a day you'll never get back. Not for all the money in the world, not for all the regret in your heart. Time doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just moves forward, always forward. And most people don't realize this until it's too late. This is a story about a man who learned that lesson the hard way. His name was David, and for 29 years, he treated time like it was his enemy instead of his currency. David wasn't a bad person. He wasn't lazy by nature. He had dreams once, big ones. He wanted to start his own business. He wanted to learn graphic design, to create, to build something meaningful. He wanted to make his mother proud, to give her a life she deserved after all those years of working double shifts to raise him alone. But somewhere between wanting and doing, David got lost. His life had become a loop, a pattern so familiar it felt like a cage he couldn't see. Every night, the same promise, tomorrow I'll start. Every night he'd stay up until 2 a.m., phone in hand, watching other people live the lives he dreamed about, scrolling through success stories, through highlight reels, through everything he wasn't. And every morning, the alarm at 7 a.m. would scream at him like an accusation. He'd hit snooze once, twice, 3 times. By the time he dragged himself out of bed, it was already 9:30. Late again, rushing again, the same apologetic text to his boss, the same disappointed look from his coworkers. His job at the printing shop paid just enough to survive, not enough to live. Day after day, he operated the same machines, printed the same orders, came home to the same small apartment with the flickering light in the kitchen his landlord never fixed. Dinner was whatever was cheapest. His evenings were whatever was easiest. Another video, another series, another promise that tomorrow would be different. His friends had stopped calling. They were busy building careers, starting families, traveling. And David was stuck. 29 years old and stuck in the same place he was at 23. His mother never said anything directly, but he could see it in her eyes when she visited. That quiet disappointment, that unspoken question. When, David? When will you become the man I know you can be? He'd feel ashamed for a few hours after she left. He'd open his laptop, pull up some tutorial videos on design, watch for maybe 15 minutes before the familiar voice in his head would start, "You're too tired right now. You had a long day. Start fresh tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll have more energy." Tomorrow. Always tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. It was a Wednesday when everything changed. David was at work, mindlessly feeding paper into the press, when his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. His mother had collapsed at the grocery store. Stroke. The hospital. Room 304. Time stopped. No, that's not right. Time didn't stop. Time kept moving, cruel and relentless, while David stood frozen in that moment, the phone shaking in his hand. He ran. The hospital walls were that particular shade of white that makes everything feel more desperate. His mother looked small in that bed, hooked to machines, her face slack on one side. The doctor's words came at him like bullets. Extensive damage. Recovery will be long. She'll need constant care, physical therapy, medication. It's going to be expensive. Expensive? David looked at his bank account that night. $473. That's what he had to show for 29 years of life, for all those tomorrows he'd been saving his effort for. $473 and a mother who needed him to be someone he wasn't. He sat in the hospital cafeteria at 3 a.m., coffee gone cold in his hands. And for the first time in years, David saw himself clearly. He was broke, not just financially. He was broke in time, broke in discipline, broke in everything that mattered. All those hours he'd wasted, all those days he'd traded for nothing. While his mother was working herself into a stroke to give him opportunities, He was scrolling through his phone, living inside excuses, treating time like it was infinite. And now time was the one thing his mother might not have enough of. The shame wasn't a feeling anymore. It was a weight, physical, crushing. But underneath the shame, something else was stirring. Something he hadn't felt in years. Rage. Not at the world, at himself. David didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. His mind was too loud, too full of all the years he'd wasted, all the moments he'd thrown away. At 5 a.m., still in the hospital waiting room, he noticed an old man sitting a few chairs down. The man was reading, completely absorbed, underlining passages in a worn book. They made eye contact. The old man smiled, tired but warm. "Waiting for someone?" he asked. David nodded. "My mother. I'm sorry." "That's hard." The old man paused. "I'm waiting for my wife." 43 years of marriage. You'd think I'd be used to hospitals by now, but you never are. They sat in silence for a moment. "Can I tell you something?" the old man said. "Something I wish someone had told me when I was your age?" David looked at him. "Sure. The only difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do with your time. That's it. That's the whole secret." He held up his book. "I wasted 15 years of my life before I learned that. 15 years thinking success was about luck, about connections, about being in the right place. But it's not. It's about treating every hour like it matters. Because it does." He stood up, his wife's name being called over the intercom. "Time is either your master or your servant," he said. "Most people never get to choose. They just let time happen to them. Don't be most people, son." And then he was gone, disappearing down the hallway, leaving David alone with those words echoing in his head. "Time is either your master or your servant." David pulled out his phone, not to scroll, to search. He typed, "How to use time wisely." One article led to another, one video to the next. And somewhere between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., David began to understand something fundamental. He didn't have a money problem. He had a time problem. And time problems could be solved. The next day, David created what he called his non-negotiable system. It was simple, almost too simple, but that was the point. 5 a.m., wake up, no snooze, no exceptions. 5 o'clock minus 6:30 a.m., learn, study graphic design, watch tutorials, practice one concept every single day. 6:30 minus 7:15 a.m., body, push-ups, running, something to make him stronger. 7:15, 8 a.m., mind, read, journal, plan the day. 9 o'clock minus 5 p.m., work, show up on time, do the job better than required. 6 o'clock minus 9 p.m., practice, build a portfolio, create actual work, apply skills. 9 o'clock minus 10 p.m., visit mother, be present. 10 p.m., sleep, no screens, no exceptions. He wrote it on a piece of paper and taped it to his bathroom mirror. That first morning, the alarm went off at 5 a.m. David's body screamed at him to stay in bed. His mind threw every excuse it had. "You're exhausted. You were at the hospital all day. You need rest. Start Monday. Start next week." But David remembered his mother's face in that hospital bed. He remembered having $473 to his name at 29 years old. He remembered that old man's words. Time is either your master or your servant. He got up. The first 2 weeks were hell. Not because the work was hard, but because his entire body and mind had been trained for years to choose comfort over discipline. Every morning at 5 a.m. felt like a battle. His bed was warm. The room was dark. Sleep was so easy, and discipline was so hard. The tutorials he watched frustrated him. Everyone seemed so talented, so natural. His first design attempts looked like a child had made them. He wanted to quit after every session. His body hurt from the exercise. His mind felt foggy and slow. And at night, when he finally put down his work, the pull to pick up his phone was almost unbearable. His coworkers noticed something different about him and didn't like it. "Why are you trying so hard?" they'd say. "Trying to make us look bad?" Old friends who still reached out would get texts back, "Can't tonight, working on you used to be fun." Had he changed? Or was he finally becoming who he was supposed to be? There were nights David would lie in bed, exhausted, doubting everything, wondering if he was fooling himself, if this was all pointless, if he should just go back to the easy path of wasting time and living small. But then he'd visit his mother. She was improving, slowly, painfully, learning to speak clearly again, learning to walk again, doing the hard work of recovery. She never complained, not once. And David realized if she could fight for her life with that much discipline, he could fight for his dreams. Something happened around day 21. David woke up at 5 a.m. and for the first time, he didn't hate it. His body was adapting. The alarm went off and he simply got up. The tutorial started making sense. His designs weren't professional yet, but they weren't embarrassing anymore. He could see improvement. Real, measurable growth. His mind felt sharper, clearer. The fog that had lived in his head for years was lifting. By day 40, David had built 5 portfolio pieces. By day 60, he'd applied to 10 freelance jobs on online platforms. By day 70, he got his first client. $50 for a logo design. It took him 6 hours to complete. $50 for 6 hours. Mathematically, it was barely minimum wage. But to David, it was proof. Proof that the system worked. Proof that time invested wisely could become value. He didn't celebrate. He just kept going. Day 90 fell on a Saturday. David woke up at 5 a.m. like he'd done for the past 89 days. But this morning felt different. He looked in the mirror and saw someone new. His face looked different, sharper, more alive. His eyes had something in them that hadn't been there 3 months ago. Purpose. His phone buzzed. An email. A client wanted him for a bigger project. Logo, brand identity, social media templates. $2,000. $2,000. David read the email 3 times to make sure it was real. It was. At work that day, his manager pulled him aside. "David, I don't know what's going on with you, but your quality has improved dramatically. I'm recommending you for a lead position. It comes with a 30% raise." That evening, David visited his mother in the rehabilitation center. She was walking now, slowly, with a cane, but walking. Her speech was almost back to normal. "David," she said, holding his hand, "you look different, healthy, happy. What's happened?" He smiled. "I stopped wasting time, Mom. I started treating it like it mattered." She squeezed his hand, tears in her eyes. "I'm proud of you." 4 words. 4 words. He'd been waiting his whole life to hear. 6 months later, David quit his job at the printing shop. His freelance work had grown to the point where he was making twice his old salary. He'd moved his mother into a better care facility. He'd saved more money in 6 months than he'd saved in 6 years. But the real change wasn't in his bank account. It was in how he saw time. He understood now what that old man in the hospital had meant. Time wasn't just minutes and hours. It was the raw material of life itself. It was the only thing you couldn't buy, beg, borrow, or steal back once it was gone. Every person on earth gets the same 24 hours. The billionaire and the homeless man. The CEO and the student. The healthy and the sick. 24 hours. What separates those who build extraordinary lives from those who live in quiet desperation isn't talent, isn't luck, isn't even intelligence. It's what they choose to do with those hours. David had wasted years. Years! He'd never get back. But he refused to waste another day because he finally understood the secret that successful people know but rarely talk about. Time is the ultimate currency, and you're either spending it on your dreams or you're spending it on your distractions. There is no middle ground. There is no pause button. There is only the choice you make every single day, every single hour. Are you investing your time or are you wasting it? Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to whatever you were doing. Scroll, watch, wait, tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Or you can decide that today is the day. Today's the day you stop treating time like it's infinite and start treating it like what it really is, the most valuable thing you'll ever own. You have 24 hours today. 24 hours that will either move you closer to who you want to be or keep you exactly where you are. What are you going to do with them? Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Because the clock is ticking. It never stops. It doesn't care about your excuses, your fears, your doubts. It just keeps moving. And every second that passes is a second you'll never get back. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? How will you use your next 24 hours? That answer will determine everything.